Tonight on CTV News, sell assets or raise rates. How will the council find the cash it needs for the rebuild? Greening the Rubble is colouring Christchurch, but space is running out. And fighting for justice, a murdered teen's mother speaks out.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening. Selling assets remains firmly on the council agenda. It needs to raise at least $1.2 billion. Now, there's been some interest from outside investors, but the council isn't giving away too much just yet, and the Mayor hasn't ruled out rate increases either. Here's Emma Cropper.
The council's financial strategy is up for debate at this Thursday's meeting as it finalises ways to help fill its funding shortfall. Last year, the council's debt escalated from $540 million to $1.2 billion in the space of 7 months, leaving the council scrambling to find ways to plug the funding shortfall. Rates could increase by 10% as proposed in the latest draft, but the council was determined to keep that figure in single digits, instead looking elsewhere. Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell believes finding the extra money can be solved carefully by managing spending, borrowing, some rate increases, and by selling shares in some of the council's key commercial assets.
So what we are seeking to do is to release $550 million from Christchurch City Holdings Limited and council-owned trading organisations.
But that $550 million could escalate once a report on the horizontal infrastructure costs is released. Mayor Dalzell says the council could potentially end up releasing $750 million in capital from its commercial arm Christchurch City Holdings. Potentially up for sale is 34% of Littleton Port, 9% of Christchurch Airport and 14.3% of Orion. Mayor Dalzell says that the previous decision to retain at least 66% of ownership of shares in council companies could deter investors, limiting sales prospects.
This is not about asset sales, it's about how do we free up the capital that we need to actually get our city back on its feet. That, to me, is the conversation that we need to have.
That conversation involving Cantabrians, with public consultation beginning next month on the financial strategy and the long-term plan, which will be finalised this Thursday.
We are going to be very open, very accountable, very transparent.
Under the Local Government Act, the council's financial strategy must present a range of options for funding its long-term plan. Some of those options including retaining all assets, which would result in very high rates, something the Mayor says is unacceptable and hopefully avoidable. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
This time last year, the last of the Redzoners moved out of Dellington, and today reporter Marcus Gibbs caught up with one who's finally found closure.
Annette Inkster is moving on. The 66-year-old is moving into her new Wigram Skies home this week and couldn't be happier.
I think it's turned out really well as far as the house is concerned, but I'm just glad to get on with my life.
Her brand new home has been 4 years in the making. In January last year, Annette was preparing to leave her red-zoned Avonside home, one of the last to do so. She was expecting her new house to be finished by the middle of the year.
They say about June.
She even proudly showed us the plans for the place, but as usual in Christchurch, there were delays.
No, I really thought it would be a lot sooner. Yeah, I guess I've learned a lot over that time and had lots of people praying and even fasting to get this place finished.
Annette has been living with her cousin for the last year, since this house was knocked down. It was tough leaving her family home of 40 years. She misses her fruit trees, and with no money left in the budget, the landscaping on her new house might have to wait.
It'll be trial and error because I know nothing about gardening and nothing about planting seed or anything, so I'm on a learning process here.
When we first met her a year ago, life for Annette wasn't looking so positive.
Problems with sewage and problems with drains blocking up.
Her family were proud gardeners, but as the red zone grew out of control, so did Annette's backyard.
I thought, well, what's the point in, working, try to keep the front tidy, but the back I've kind of let go.
As to what should happen with the red zone, Now that more and more houses have been demolished, the future use of the residential Redzone will soon come up for public debate. Annette would like to see it turned into a park or used for sport and recreation.
If it ever comes up for housing, boy, they're in for a battle with my daughter.
But she's in her new home now, and Annette has decorated it to match her personality, bright and cheerful.
I like blue. In fact, I would have had blue carpet too, but my daughter thought it was maybe overkill.
It's been a long, hard slog, but finally Annette can enjoy her retirement. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
So nice to see somebody smiling from the area, isn't it? Well, trying to find or farm land in Canterbury just got a little tougher. Farmers will now be required to come up with environmental management plans.
The plans are designed to help identify actual and potential environmental effects and risks to properties. Under Environment Canterbury's proposed Land and Water Regional Plan, farm environment plans will need to be produced in any circumstances where an application for consent to farm is required. Under the proposal, plans can be prepared either by landowners themselves or via industry-prepared templates. All farm environment plans must include an assessment of the environmental effects and risks associated with farming activities and how those effects and risks will be managed, including irrigation, application of nutrients, effluent application, stock exclusion from waterways, offal pits and farm rubbish pits. Bill Bayfield, ECAN's chief executive, says there are several situations where consent will be required at different times in the future, depending on how at-risk water quality is in the zone where the property is located.
A Christchurch woman whose daughter was murdered by a man who had already killed a child in Australia is now calling for a law change. An online petition by Tina Bayliss has the support of nearly 40,000 people.
Mother of three, Tina Bayliss thought she was going on a harmless date when she agreed to meet Jeremy McLaughlin for dinner back in 2011.
And so after the initial sort of getting to know each other, it seemed okay, did it not?
Yep.
Jeremy, who we now know to be a child killer, no alarm bells?
No, none whatsoever, nothing. If anything, he was really good with my children when he met them. He felt, well, I think he sort of felt really close to them, like he had a bit of a childish side to him. As far as I'm aware, he doesn't have children, so he seemed to get on really well.
But soon alarm bells were ringing as McLaughlin was showing up to her family home unannounced.
He would pick them up when they were on holiday without me knowing. He would just knock on the front door and pick them up and put them in the car and take them out. And
take them where?
He would take them to the park, he would take them to the mall, he would meet me at work with my children.
Unannounced?
Yes.
At one point, Tina arrived home to find a cooked lasagna waiting for her in the oven. A nice gesture, but Tina was concerned and saw it as crossing the line.
And I asked Jeremy not to go to my home and disturb my children or do anything along the lines of that. And he couldn't understand what was wrong with that. He thought it was a bit odd in me saying, I don't want you near my children when I'm not there.
Tina's concerns escalated and she went to the local police seeking help after hearing in a passing comment that McLaughlin had previously killed someone in Australia.
My words were, I've come to ask some advice about what to do about this guy. His name's Jeremy McLaughlin. Here's the text messages that I've been receiving from this guy, and is it true that he's been done for murder in Australia?
4 days later, and her 13-year-old daughter Jade was killed by McLaughlin. Tina's now calling for the government to do more to inform the public and create greater transparency between Australia and New Zealand agencies.
I do understand there is a process in place that they're trying to share information between Australia and New Zealand, but it's a lengthy process.
More than 37,000 signatures have been collected on this online petition to start a serious crimes register. Tina still needs 12,000 more before it can be taken before the government.
I'm talking about arsonists, I'm talking about domestic violence, I'm talking about having a register that you can go and you can find out this information.
A public register?
Absolutely. Or we can have a public register for sex offenders, paedophiles. Why can't we have one for serious crimes?
Tina started the online petition 2 weeks ago and is hoping with support there won't be a repeat situation of what happened to her own daughter. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Well, still to come here on CTV News, the Greening the Rubble team needs more space to green the rubble.
Give the clowns the kick and get the professionals in. If you're just having repairs done, A1 Movers has the option of self-storage on your property, so you can keep all your items within arm's reach. A1 Movers can also carefully handle and wrap your items, ensuring they have a safe journey. But if you can't move into your new home straight away, they can store your items in their secure storage facility. With so many options and a satisfaction guarantee, A1 Movers is your careful, caring moving company.
At NCRE, there is no job too big or too tough. From commercial fridge and freezers to farming and dairy refrigeration, we can take care of all your refrigeration needs. NCRE, we'll get you sorted.
Looking for that perfect gift for a loved one? Wanting to add some vibrance to your home? Or just looking to brighten up your workplace? No matter the occasion, the Hitching Post has something for everyone. Lose yourself in their extensive range of homeware, art, glass and plasma cut metalwork. The Hitching Post is your one-stop shop for great style and quality. So come on down to the Hitching Post, 722 Marshland Road.
Hi, I'm Mark and welcome to Staywell Pharmacy. At Staywell Pharmacy we do more than just dispense prescriptions. If you're looking for a new perspective on your health options from a qualified health professional, then come in and see us. We have 2 private consultation rooms where you can discuss your health needs with our team in confidence. We combine the best of the health food shop and a pharmacy to give you a holistic approach. For a new direction in your future health, call us for an appointment. Staywell Pharmacy. Live well, stay well.
Welcome back. For the last 4.5 years, a community group known as Greening the Rubble has been building gardens near damaged buildings. The team is full of ideas, but as new buildings pop up, old sites are on the way out. Volunteers are now seeking new space to build on, but in the meantime, they've come up with some innovative ways. Here's Marcus Gibbs.
Abandoned and fenced off, this is Redzone land. The bulldozer has already cleared the homes and nature is taking over the rest. Plants that were once well kept are now growing out of control, and Gina Payne from Greening the Rubble wants to save them. Armed with a wheelbarrow of potting mix and tools, Gina's clipping various specimens.
Yeah, I've had my eye on this for a while, but I wanted to do it when it wasn't flowering because it's better for the plant.
Uprooting plants, ripping them from the soil, preparing them for a new life in another part of the city.
It's for its own good, I assure you. It'll live on in many little pieces.
Sourcing plants like these isn't easy.
Come on, mate.
But it's important. A way for Greening the Rubble to never run out of plants, and a way to ensure they live on, albeit in a new home. This plant is called a red hot poker, except it has yellow flowers. Gina's trying to get plants like these first before Sarah moves in and clears them all together.
You can see it's been in the ground for a long time. And then that little bit will grow. So you can see how many I can make from this potentially. And of course it's really good for us because, you know, we're charity, so we don't have a huge budget for things like plants. So the fact that Sarah lets us come in here and use the plants that they aren't using, that would otherwise just be scraped off and thrown away, is really helpful.
The idea is to take the cuttings and to repot them.
I've got some water for him so he can have a wee drink.
And that'll grow quite well, will it?
Yeah, it should grow really well, yeah.
If Sarah hasn't completely cleared the land, including the trees and the plants, the Redzone resembles a waste zone. It's important that what's still living is saved.
There's just so much waste. There's that mountain of stuff that's all just like munched up houses, and it's really, really cool to be able to rescue little things out of the zone.
So with that, the pots and the plants are carted off back to the car and dropped off at the plant exchange. Greening the Rubble's latest project at the Commons, the former home of the Pallet Pavilion. It's a place where you can drop off a plant or a clipping and pick up something new.
People love to get together and talk about plants. Like, most gardeners are pretty friendly people, and people will run into each other and they won't know each other, but they'll be here at the plant exchange swapping plants and swapping ideas, and I think that can't not be a good thing.
Gina has a special permit from Sarah, allowing her to venture into the Redzone, but other people can take plants from their own gardens and swap them at the exchange.
They either grow something from seed, or they transplant a little cutting, or they bring something from their garden in a pot and they swap it for something else.
In the future, Gina would like to hold lessons in seed sowing or growing cuttings. These are skills that are potentially going to be lost in future generations unless green-fingered gardeners continue to pass down the knowledge. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
And if you know of any land in the central city area that they could use, make sure you get in touch with them, won't you? Well, recent rainfall across Canterbury has eased drought conditions, but farmers are looking at longer-term plans to deal with the risk of future droughts.
Due to recent rainfall in central Canterbury, the Ashburton District Council has lifted a total fire ban in the Plains area, at least for the time being. A total ban is still in place for the district's hill and high country areas and most of Canterbury as drought conditions continue. But the Plains lifted ban has reduced to a restricted level of fire risk, which means most fires still require permits, and for those that don't, all culpability falls on the shoulders of those responsible for lighting the fires. The fire service is urging extra care as the region's land is still dry, and it will be monitoring user behaviour over the next few weeks. Further south, the lack of water has prompted an application to build a giant man-made lake which would hold 12,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of water. The plan would feed other downstream irrigation schemes and has initial support from farming, hydro, environmental, Māori and government groups. Many South Canterbury farmers continue to be reliant with on-farm water supplies as irrigation levels dried up during the season's drought, and the scheme is seen as one measure to prevent against a future drought risk. The initial proposal will be shown to the public in autumn, and a resource consent application will be made by the end of the year.
Helicopters grounded last week are back in the air. The country's most popular type of chopper, a Robinson R44, was grounded last week with fears a faulty rotor blade was the cause of a fatal crash in Queenstown. But today authorities have allowed them back in the air.
3 days after the Civil Aviation Authority grounded all Robinson R44 helicopters, the aircrafts are now allowed to fly again. The helicopters are fitted with Dash 8 rotors and were grounded following a fatal crash in Queenstown last week. While it was initially thought the Dash 8 rotors had a structural flaw, the CAA's investigation into the crash today found that the rotor blades of the crashed copter had instead cracked on impact. The CAA says in an incident yesterday, when a Dash 8 mechanism caused serious vibrations to another helicopter, it was unrelated and the rotors are not the issue. The Robinson R44 is a commonly used helicopter in the New Zealand high country, and its grounding this week was the second largest in New Zealand aviation history.
Police have charged a German tourist following another fatal crash. A 54-year-old woman was killed at an intersection near Springston. Witnesses report the driver of the car failed to stop at the intersection of Goulds and Leastons Road. A spokesperson for the victim's family made a statement saying they're shell-shocked, and to know their much-loved mother and close friend is not coming home is extremely upsetting. Police investigations into the crash are ongoing. Now, the driver will appear in the Christchurch District Court on Friday. Well, still to come here on CTV News, the Crusaders get ready to win again, and your region's weather.
Blackwells has a proud history presenting leading vehicle brands, extensive backup and service for a total one-stop driving experience. Holden, Mazda and HSV new and used vehicle sales, servicing, parts, paint and panel, Isuzu truck sales and service, all together in one convenient location. More selection, more value, more quality and more reasons to make Blackwells your number one choice. Visit Blackwells today, corner Waterloo Racecourse Road, Sockburn, or online at blackwells.co.nz.
Getting old is hard, but finding more mobility has made such a difference.
And now you can find more mobility at their bigger location on 113 Blenheim Road, just around the corner from their old store. With a much larger site, you'll now have more room to move around when looking at their excellent new stock, including more furniture, more bedding and more living aids, giving you the opportunity to have more mobility. More mobility at their new location on 113 Blenheim Road.
Located at the foot of the Port Hills, Berrymead Golf offers a spectacular location for any occasion. Make a dream wedding a reality with private use of our green function room, outdoor garden courtyard, large marquee and stunning gazebo. Or for your next conference, enjoy the relaxed atmosphere of Berrymead Golf, offering a private, spacious conference room with special deals to make any break a true break. All with customised catering from the Wow Cafe. Berrymead Golf, 50 Berrymead Park Drive, right next to the Berrymead Heritage Park.
The legend continues. Neil Diamond, live in concert. Labour Weekend. Saturday, October 24, Dunedin, Forsyth Bar Stadium. A night of vintage Neil Diamond with all your favourite hits. Tickets on sale now at ticketdirect.co.nz. Don't miss Neil Diamond. Tour details at daintygroup.com.
Welcome back. After a win against the Highlanders last week, the Crusaders are hoping to repeat another winning performance with its revamped lineup this weekend. Jared McCulloch has the details.
The training gear's out and the mood is positive in the Crusaders camp with a strong weekend win against the mighty Highlanders on Saturday night. It's the team's second round of the Super Rugby season, playing in style after storming the Southern Super Rugby side 26-20 at Forsyth Bar Stadium in Dunedin last week. And one of the stars of the game in the Canterbury side was lock Scott Barrett, who says he was preparing for the game all last week.
Pretty nervous actually. Had a good week building up, and obviously there's some big boots to fill there. And it was pretty nerve-wracking. Didn't really kick in till I guess that first kick-off really.
Barrett scored the first try on debut for the men in red and black, bringing the team to a 10-7 lead in the 26th minute. Born and bred in New Plymouth, the 21-year-old got his big break last year, moving to join the Crusaders crew, and he's happy to play for the side.
Oh, funny that now. Definitely enjoy playing for the Crusaders, and never was a Chiefs supporter back in the day, but yeah.
And he says he's been receiving a lot of support.
No, I was actually rooming with Richie McCaw, so he looked after me well, and he just said, just do your own job and play your game. Yeah.
Although this weekend will be focused towards beating the Chiefs, Scott says it will be an interesting game against family member Bowden Barrett when the Crusaders play the Hurricanes later on in the season.
That could be interesting, playing the brother. Haven't really played against Bodie, so that could be something cool. I don't know if Nano would be too keen on that one.
And the assistant coach is confident about Scott's playing ability.
I think so. I think he's shown so far, not only what he's done on the field, because he's been really impressive, the games he's played at this level, but just his demeanour and his ability to handle, this level. So, yeah, looking really positively to his future. Yeah, good stock, I think they'd say, wouldn't they? Good genes. And he's been in our program a while, and he's a good hard worker, prepares well, and he's taken his opportunity, which is critical for a young man.
There was a lot of changes in the lineup last weekend against the Highlanders, one with Dan Carter, who was out with a leg injury. But it's all about looking ahead and preparing the best team lineup.
I'm going to say it again, it's kind of a day-by-day. It's a day-by-day with him as well. Clearly this is a key training of the week and he wasn't there, so we're hopeful for Thursday. It'll probably be the odd bracket, and probably the importance of this week against the Chiefs. We do have a bye, so understand that we're probably going to get beaten up and we need all hands on deck. So we'll really wait to see how we all roll in on Thursday and try and pick the very best team for the challenge up there.
The confirmed team for the third game won't be announced until later on this week, with the Crusaders set to travel to Hamilton to face the Chiefs. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
And now it's time for your region's weather.
A very warm day out there today, but how warm was it? Let's take a look. Timaru 27 for you, Temuka and Geraldine slightly warmer on 28 degrees. Ashburn in a warm 26 today, Methven one up on the neighbour 27 degrees. Rukai 26 for you. Darfield, it was a great day on 27, Leiston and Rolleston 24 degrees. Lincoln and Christchurch 24 for you also. Over in Akaroa now, a slightly cooler place to be in Canterbury with a high of 23 today. Further north, Kaipoi, Rangiora and Amberley sitting on 27 degrees. Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, the warmest place to be again today, hitting a nice 29. And at the top of the region, Kaikoura 24 degrees. Taking a look at tomorrow's weather now. Timaru, a mild morning at first, but there'll be some rain heading your way after lunch with some cool southwesterly winds. Tonight's low is 14, your high tomorrow 22 degrees. Ashburn now, there'll be some high cloud and mild northerlies in the morning with some outbreaks of rain and cooler southerly winds coming your way by the afternoon. Your low tonight is 14, tomorrow's high 22. It'll be a fine morning in Christchurch tomorrow, but expect some cloud increasing and rain developing during the afternoon as cooler southwesterly breezes arrive later on in the day. Tonight's low is 14, tomorrow's high 24 degrees. Up in Kaikoura, your Wednesday will be mostly fine with high cloud increasing and northerly winds, but there'll be some cooler southwesterlies and showers as the day goes on. Tonight's low is 14, tomorrow's high 25. Taking a look at the other areas around the region, Temuka and Geraldine, there'll be some cloud in the morning with some showers later on, your high 23. Methven and Rukai, some cloud at first with some light rain in the afternoon, both looking at 23 tomorrow. Darfield, Leiston, Rolleston and Lincoln, another day of sharing the weather, some cloud then showers with a high of 23 degrees. Over in Akaroa tomorrow, cloud at first for you and then expect a few showers, 23 degrees. Kaipoi, Rangiora and Amberley, slightly warmer tomorrow with some cloud and showers, 24 degrees. Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, similar picture for you, some cloud and light rains in the afternoon, 24 degrees. Looking ahead for Canterbury now, there'll be some cloud at first on Thursday with some sunny periods breaking through during the afternoon and some cool breezy northeasterly winds will develop. As for Friday, it'll be mild with some sunny spells beaming through the high cloud at times and moderate northerly winds. Taking a look at the weekend, it'll be fine and mild on Saturday with sunny periods and high cloud and light northerly winds. There may be a brief period of southwesterlies by the evening. However, it'll be fine and sunny on Sunday and Monday with just some moderate northeasterly winds. And that is your weather for Tuesday.
Thanks, Jared, and that is CTV News for your Tuesday. Have a great evening, won't you?
Content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.